welcome to SeeHear, the programme for people who are deaf or hard of hearing in the UK. But first, at SeeHear we're always pleased to receive your emails and letters, and one letter in particular grabbed our attention. A viewer in Cornwall wrote in to tell us how members of Cornwall Deaf Centre decided to roll up their sleeves and fight to save the club when the threat of closure hit. SeeHear was there in 1989.
SeeHear in Cornwall today. Now the reason we're here is the opening of the new Deaf Club. It's a very proud day for all of Cornwall deaf people, for deaf people all over. And I'm very proud as well, my husband Clark and myself, because the Cornwall Deaf Club asked us to open the new club in Camborne. Why did you need to set up this club?
Well, because quite some time ago, Cornwall used to have 8 or 9 deaf clubs scattered around. And gradually they all closed down. And then we were left with just one. That's all that was provided in the way of deaf clubs, which wasn't enough. So we've got people scattered all over the place, and using different kinds of centres, sharing them with other people, but we felt we needed our own deaf club, and the only way was to campaign to get one. So we had to raise the money.
But 23 years on, the club fell on hard times, and last year the local deaf community had to launch another campaign to try and keep it open. Barry Curtis, who was also chairman of the club when it opened in '89, still has fond memories of the opening day.
Deaf people came from all over. There were so many. It made my day and made me so happy. We finally got our own deaf club. Finally!
But last year, that all looked under threat. Jackie, who is the club's secretary and has a deaf daughter, remembers how the problems began.
In August of last year, we were having one of our social evenings. It was a candle party, and we arrived. It was a ladies' night, and as we got here, we found that the building had a terrible flood. There was water leaking in everywhere, so we called an emergency plumber.
It was shocking. And another problem was the old electric wiring, which was ancient. Everything had to be removed and, as you can see, replaced with a brand new ceiling.
Fire service came out and said that we wouldn't be issued with our new certificate if we didn't get these jobs seen to. And then one evening I was having a meal at my house with Gary Thomas, who was then on the committee, and we were thinking of ways we could help the Deaf Centre. And we both said it's such a shame we're not electricians or we can't do these jobs for them. And I told Gary that I'd written to DIY SOS on TV about a year previous to that, when it became apparent that it wasn't just, it was cosmetic as well in here. The building was quite run down. And Gary just very jokingly said, why don't we do our own project? We could call it DIY DefOS. I made a few calls, a few emails, and within 7-8 days we had about a dozen people that said yes, they'd like to come and help. So we thought we'd contact the local papers and the TV people, and they came out, I think it was the 27th of September.
Now work is underway to refurbish the only club for deaf people in Cornwall, thanks to support from local businesses. The Cornwall Deaf Centre in Camborne has been open for more than 20 years.
However, the building is in a poor state of repair and is under threat of closure. As David George reports, the club has received more than a dozen offers of help, but it needs more.
Lessons in sign language, children's groups and social evenings all take place in what is Cornwall's only meeting place for those with hearing difficulties.
We had a DIY DeafOS launch, and all these work people came and the deaf community came, and it was really, really emotional because there was people here that we'd never met before, that had no idea that there was a deaf community in Camborne, offering to give us materials, work things, volunteers, and DIY SOS was launched.
The roof was repaired and the club was beginning to look in better shape. But in November came the shocking discovery of asbestos.
If inhaled and it gets inside you, it can cause cancer. It's really dangerous. Well, it was up there, unbeknownst to us, for years. We were totally oblivious to it. When it was discovered there was asbestos there, it was a shock, but we had to close.
The asbestos was removed, but what had seemed like a simple repair job was now an all-out renovation taking months.
Come in and have a look. So you're painting?
Yeah, I'm just about to do that wall there.
He loves carpentry and painting. He's fantastic.
Costs to complete the work ran high, so the goodwill of deaf people and local builders was invaluable.
We've had a lot of people donate to the project. I mean, Camborne and Redruth, local businesses, have been absolutely fantastic, and we've gone a little bit out of Camborne and Redruth to get donations coming in. And I was actually trying to reckon up how much we've been given, and in materials alone, and this sounds really, really hard to believe, about £70,000 worth of materials, and that's without the labour costs.
The work's slow going here. I'll explain. Most people doing work here come in the evening. They have their own jobs out there. They go to work in the morning, work a full day, go home to have their tea, and then they'll come over to help. So they can't come here all day, but fortunately the deaf helpers can come. How are you getting on? You like the sweeping?
Yeah, it's good.
Is it hard work?
No, it's easy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
See that? She says it's easy work. Better get back to it.
After being closed for more than 6 months, the work is almost done.
I feel we'll be open by the summertime. We have all been talking about, hopefully, coinciding with the Queen's Diamond Jubilee on June the 2nd. So we're trying to get the club reopened at the same time.
The day we get this centre back open again is going to be a very proud moment and a very emotional moment, because all of us, whatever we're doing here, most of us are doing this because of Barry, because of his commitment and his love of the Deaf Centre, and it actually rubs off on you, and you feel some of that passion that he feels, and him and his wife have worked so hard to keep this centre alive, and I think the day we open is going to be very, very emotional.
Cornwall Deaf Centre may not have much money, but it does have some very special people who hopefully could keep the club open for another 25 years.